You want me to start now? The riff?
Please add that. Thank you.
We're keeping that in? Okay.
Keep all that in.
All right. All right. We're keeping this in. Here we go. Dustin's vinyl. And here's Dustin Chafin.
Yeah. All right.
I couldn't play and say that at the same time.
I loved it. A year and a half with this show, we finally got a proper intro. Music, title of the show. That was great. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. It's weird seeing you without a green screen.
I know. My cousin's staying with me, and I had to put him in my music room. So I had to move all my music stuff out into the living room.
Nice. Looks like you're on a casting couch. So,
how much
you have to do to get on this show, huh?
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know, buddy. 2 albums and taking care of a dead guinea pig. That's what I had to do.
I had to grab him.
I paid my dues for Dustin Chafin's locked-in family.
Oh, man. I had to put him in the freezer.
You've been in there. You paid your dues, Anthony. Good stuff. Yeah. So you know what? Let's bring in this other. There's another guy that's on the show randomly. He's very funny. Actually, he's funny. He's funnier than us, and we're the comedians. But he's also very knowledgeable, where we lack a lot of times. Give it up for Adam Holtz, everybody.
Hey guys.
Hey, Jersey's favorite.
Jersey's own.
Jersey's own. Is that what they call it? Jersey's favorite
fresh.
son.
Jersey's
favorite son. You didn't disappoint. You got your Wonder Woman transitioning.
Wonder Woman still, yeah.
Painting is still there. I love it. It looks like Caitlyn Jenner in a Wonder Woman outfit. That's what it looks like.
It sort of does. There we go.
It never gets old. I love it. It's great. Good stuff. Yeah, so we're without Jeff today, which is I mean I feel really good about that. I'm kidding. No, he gives us these fun videos of his take on things. Mm-hmm. And so last time was hilarious. So we're pretty excited to see these. And he's got quite the outfit. I tell you, think I got an outfit. You should see Jeff's.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to his.
It's gonna be exciting.
Videos.
So you guys had good weeks. Anthony, how was your week? Good.
It's been good. My cousin is visiting from out of town. He's a musician. He's a guy that plays on a lot of my songs. We used to be in bands together.
Not only does he play a lot of your songs, he played on one of my songs on the album.
He played on your song. That's right. Yeah,
Country to the City. Adam. I did a country song. I don't know if you've ever heard it.
Oh, wow.
And he plays bass and guitar.
On my first album. Yeah. Stop telling people that. And it's kind of a thing about, living in the city but being from the country, and it's kind of a Johnny Cash kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But his cousin is a great guitar player, and they did like
Ricky Wells.
Ricky Wells. That's it. Ricky Wells. He got a shout out on the album. But it was good. We did a video and everything. It was pretty exciting. I always try to do a song. I think it's fun. It's like throwback to the 80s and stuff, because all those guys did songs like Kinnison and Dennis Leary. Everybody did songs at the end of their albums. A lot of 80s guys did.
Even Stephen Wright did some kind of songs on his album.
Yeah, it is weird though when he picks up the guitar. I'm not gonna lie.
It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite Stephen Wright moments when he's got the guitar.
Yeah,
because he can't sing.
Yeah, well, I mean,
is it spoken word or is it an actual song?
It's him. Sort of in between.
Anthony does that too, where he does like jokes and plays the guitar. It's like a melodic thing with the guitar and set up punch. It's good. It's just not there's no need for it really.
Yeah, it's not what you go for to see.
Yeah. Well, I saw him live, and it was like 30 minutes of just brilliance, and then he picked up the guitar, and it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. You know how I feel about guitar acts. So yeah, I was.
How's your week?
Oh, thank you for asking. But I'd ask myself, hey, Dustin, how was your week? I don't know.
So anyway, my week has been...
Good Lord. It was good. I was in Corpus Christi, Texas. I was out there. I was headlining, which is fun. You act like that's unheard of. Shut up.
No, it's not unheard of. You've been doing a lot of
people actually like me sometimes, Anthony.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was fun. Well, I had opened for a couple of guys out there, and then the club headlined me. So that's always
nice.
It's always the way that it should be, And I think is like, you open for people, and then the club see you crush, and then people like you that were there for the other person, and they come for you. So it was great. We had sold out shows, and it was fantastic. And we had a bachelorette party. 22 girls from the Texas Christians Women's University. So they were not as fun as you would want them to be. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And it's funny. They all wore cowboy hats and thing. And when I got on stage, I said, I just got here late, so I have no idea what this table's about, but I'm assuming you're all just fans, and that's why you're wearing the cowboy hats. And it was really funny. I was like, I'll sign them after. But I soiled those poor girls. I just took my shirt off at one point. Like I was a maniac. I was just like, it's a bachelorette party. Why are you in a comedy club? I said, it's like Beyonce as pink eye because he's getting flapped by some butt right now. Like, why are you here? So I just soiled these poor girls. They're gonna have to get rebaptized after my show. But it was fun. It was fun. There was it was cool. Cool little town. And the ocean is like, it's probably the worst ocean in all of America. It really is so bad. It's just, they had a surf museum. And which is just ridiculous. It's like they have the Corpus Christi Surf Museum. I was like, nobody's ever surfed in Christi unless there was a freaking hurricane. You know what I mean? Like nobody's surfing in
unintentional
Corpus.
surfing.
Yeah, they just have a museum of 3 guys who did it.
Right.
And the water is so brown. It's just the brownest water ever. But you feel safe because you feel like the sharks can't see you because the water's so brown.
You could surf incognito.
The sharks aren't going to get you because they can't see shit. So, so we had a good time. And it was fun. So it was a record store. I went to Hybrid Records, which is a cool little record store that was in downtown. It was walking distance from the hotel, which is great. I love it when I can just walk to a record store. I hate it when I got Uber to a thing. And then your $80 you have no business spending ends up costing you $150 because you got to do the Uber and all the crap. Yeah. And so, and that's fair enough to say we all have, just probably poor planning with money, and where we put all our money in things like vinyl instead of healthcare and and dinner, savings account,
groceries,
and just a safety net for rent. No, we're out there buying records. The 3 of us, I can speak for all of us. I talked about before the show, but I think that's the thing. Is it's like you find drugs that stimulate, and that and that's kind of one of those things. But so I love a record store. So I went to a record store, and let's see. First one, because Adam and I share the love for...
there you go.
Like MIDI. I got the new one, and I think I scared Lee off when I played it last night. The first three songs, you're like, whoa. She's like, what is this? But it's, as weird as I want it to be. It's such a cool album. The follow-up, to the last album that we covered actually on the show.
Yeah, Cavalcade, that's it. And so I just like having weird stuff. It's like I feel like this is one of those albums that it's just all over the place for me. And it's like one of those albums that I really feel it is kind of an alone album. Not a lot of people might not get this, and I think that's just like Zappa. You ever try, like, people are always like, I love Zappa, and then you listen to it, you're like, do you really?
Do I actually? I like a couple of songs here and there.
I like his mustache, and but you're just like,
I like what he did for free speech.
But you crank that up at a party, you got to make sure it's the right crowd. And so I just like getting into stuff I'm not that familiar with, and so Adam got to hook me on this band, and I think they're very talented and weird and fun. So I got that.
And it keeps going with Adam. I feel like my whole theme is Adam. And so I got the Alanis Morissette.
Oh, nice.
This is an original at press, and it's hard to find this, actually.
I didn't know that they even did that originally.
This is an original press. It's hard to find. And Jagged Little Pill. And I think, Adam, actually, you saw her just recently.
I saw her last Thursday. And it was so Garbage opened, and then Alanis came on. She did all of Jagged Little Pill. And she mixed in a few of her other hits in there, but it was incredible. She was basically bouncing around the stage. She was twirling. I mean, I think she's going to rival Stevie Nicks for twirling now.
Wow.
But yeah, she sounds incredible.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I think she would be fun to see. I think there's, it's like. I saw Sheryl Crow, which probably some people would put her in the same genre, but not as dynamic on stage. Just very kind of sit there in the middle, whereas I think Alanis is jumping around. And she plays, right? She plays guitar?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They brought out an acoustic and I think there were a couple moments where they brought guitars out for her. She didn't play it the whole time, but she did play a couple songs. And I think one of the best moments was during Ironic. She had an entire tribute to Taylor Hawkins.
Oh, that's nice.
That was really cool. Moving, really powerful, and
that's amazing.
It was a really great show. Definitely worth checking out. I think she's still. I think she's probably gonna. I know this was like probably the second leg of this tour, and this is one that I've been. The one here when I saw her at PNC, and it was basically rescheduled 3 times because of COVID and because of a hurricane. So.
Oh wow. Yeah, I'm glad that she does play guitar, and it's not like a Madonna thing where they teach her how to play one song for the tour,
Right.
Where they basically just glue her fingers to the fret. Yeah. Like, all right, just don't move, play this. But yeah, this is cool. I've always liked the CD, and so it's cool to have it as an album.
Yeah, they I've actually been trying to look for that album. It is really tough to find, but they do have a acoustic Jagged Little Pill album that she put out.
Interesting you would say that, Mr. Adam.
Oh, here we go.
My next album is Stone Temple Pilots MTV Unplugged. And I actually never saw this one. Obviously, the Nirvana and Kiss. I've seen a bunch of them, but I hadn't seen this one. I don't know if you guys saw it, but
I have seen it.
Yeah.
I've never seen the album. I didn't know that it was that they did it as an album.
It's cool. It's I know Anthony's a sucker for a colored vinyl.
Oh, nice. Purple. That's a nice color too.
Yeah, purple. You
don't see that very much with the colored vinyl.
Yeah. So this is cool, man. I've been listening to it the past couple of days or past day, I guess. It's it's got Cracker Man, Creep, Plush, Vaseline, obviously, Wicked Garden, Sex type thing, Big Empty, Andy Warhol. But yeah, it's great. It's like, because I love, I wish all my rock bands that I like would, I could have like an acoustic version of them. I just feel like it's always just, I will always wish they should all just do 2. It should be a standard. You know what I mean? Like when you just do the hard one and you do the soft, so it's like, because it just adds another element to the music, it just adds some, depth, especially like this, a band like this. And, because there's so much soul in it and torture and stuff. So it's like, you'd really hear it when it comes through the, kind of unplugged version. They did plug in a little bit. It was with Vaseline, I think they plugged in a little bit. So it's like a little bit of that happens, where somebody's like in the back. It's like, this riff really needs the guitar. But, but for the most part, it was, just kind of that intimate setting. But it was cool. So I really feel like I scored with these 3.
Yeah.
Good.
That's a great band.
I
really,
almost
really nice.
got, because you guys are down with Primus a lot, right? Is that
I like some fans? Primus. I love the Brown album, and what's the other one? Tales Punch Bowl, something Punch Bowl.
Punch Bowl.
Tales from the Punch Bowl. I don't know, something. The one with Winona's Big Brown Beaver.
Okay.
That one's a good one. That's a good one.
I think that one. I'm not I like them, but I don't, I don't own a lot of their stuff or whatever. I might have owned a couple CDs back in the day, but I don't have any of them. Anyway, I'd never heard that Willy Wonka thing they did.
Oh, so I haven't listened to all of it either.
It's pretty phenomenal. Like it was on in the record store, and they did the whole album, the tribute. It's so great and freaking weird, man. I loved it. So I almost got that. I think I want to own that. It's just really, but I feel like if I'm going to have some Primus, I should probably probably have, a backup instead of just, so like, what do you own? The Willy Wonka album. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, I'm like, if I'm going to start into my Primus world of vinyl, I should probably, do something else.
Yeah. So that, I think that one is called Primus and the Chocolate Factory with the Fungi Ensemble.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild. It's really good. That Oompa Loompa version is phenomenal. Like, I was just listening. I go, who is? I didn't even know who it was, and then I just like, it's like, this is great. So I think that re-released actually on vinyl. I think that's a new release on vinyl now. But yeah. So what have you guys been digging, Anthony? Been digging? What you got?
I went to a record store in Echo Park in LA. Okay. It's a record store coffee shop. I forget the name of it. And I was looking around the regular bins, and I was like, it's fine. Nothing crazy. I don't know if I'm going to buy anything. And then I like kind of kneel down, and they got a whole bunch of dollar records, and a lot of them are kind of beat up or whatever. And I was looking through it, and I found a couple really kind of some hidden gems. And one of them, I'll show. There's a kind of a little story, I guess. But I got the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Give us the story, buddy.
So at first, I saw this. So that it's got this limited edition. The sleeve has this little. It's numbered. And I was kind of excited about it. But you see how this is like, the sleeve is like that. So what they did is the record is actually just the regular soundtrack. And this is supposed to be a picture disc, which they didn't include. So I have like this limited edition sleeve, the limited edition jacket, and then the regular soundtrack. But I mean, it's still from the 70s. It's still the original 1975 soundtrack, just in this sleeve.
Well, actually, Anthony, we covered this album, and I own the picture disc from the 70s. I have
What number do you have? What number do you have?
I'd have to look at it, but I have it, yeah.
I got 8191.
If your number's better, then I'll trade you, and we'll just sell it.
Yeah, you could have the better
it's
number.
Like some amazing number otherwise.
But I listened to it. I mean, it plays great, even though it was in the dollar bin, and I thought maybe it'd be a little beat up. But I've seen the movie a bunch of times, but I never owned the soundtrack, and I put it on, and I was really surprised by how well this just works as an album. It's just a great album. It's like a concept album or whatever.
Yeah, Leah loves it. That's one of her pump ups, like for shows and stuff like this. Yeah, her whole thing is like the first half, the first side. The first side is upbeat, amazing, and then the second side is a little bit of a downer. People die, people get eaten.
The first song on side B is the touch me. So that one's upbeat, and then it's like all ballads,
and then forget it. It's all done.
All great songs. I mean, even side B, it feels like you're listening to like Dark Side of the Moon or something. With all those
well, it's ahead of its time. It's such an independent that took off, which you got to appreciate that. It's like, but yeah, it's definitely. And that guy, what's his name? Richard O'Brien. Yeah, he has an amazing voice. Like he could have been like a metal dude. We talked about it on the thing. It's like he could have been like a metal singer. Like he was great. He's got a great voice. And then he put that whole thing together, man. He just kind of like wrote it and performed it. And like
it was
made
a play.
It a movie. And
he wrote the music, and then he wrote the screenplay with Jim Sharman, and him wrote the screenplay based off of the play that he wrote by himself. So I was pretty excited to get this for $1 because it's got the jacket.
Anytime you get anything for $1, it's always a party.
Yeah.
It's like I think the album that we're covering today, one that I'm covering today, I got for $1. But it's you'd be surprised what you can find. I recommend, it's like Goodwills and like fancy neighborhoods. You find really good stuff. And like, I found like a bunch of Beatles and Chuck Berry, a bunch of stuff, because it was in 72nd Street over there. And like there was like a Goodwill. Like it's a kind of Goodwill where you walk in, like, is this thing new? Like there's stuff that's still sealed. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, like they don't. It's like what's trash to them is like not trash to the rest of us. So it's like you get good quality stuff. But because in Queens though. I would go into their dollar bins and in the Salvation Army, and just maybe one song wouldn't skip.
Yeah.
I call it the Frisbee bin, because that's people are just. Yeah, I got a Busta Rhymes album, and I was excited about it. I mean, you can't even listen to it. That's just so jacked up. But some I've saved, and we'll do an episode on that. I've saved albums where it's a lot of route cleaning and alcohol and
sometimes I'll put a coin on the needle and it'll kind of press the groove a little harder. And sometimes you can do that.
Yeah, see, I messed up. I did that, but I did it under the needle, so just ruined the whole album. You have to be specific, Anthony. These kids go out there and scratch their albums. Put it on top of it, guys.
You got to put it on top of the needle.
So it's weighted. Let's see. Adam, what'd you get this week?
Well, besides going to see Alanis Morissette, I also saw Elton John. Yeah, I saw.
You saw Elton John?
Yep.
Wow.
God, dude, I want your life.
Yeah, and I got Pretty Reckless and Hailstorm coming up on Thursday. So this is probably the most shows I've seen in a couple of years, or 3 years or so.
That's amazing.
This is his farewell tour, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so this was he did 2 nights over in MetLife, and I caught the second night, which was he sold out the first night. The second night, there was still a ton of seats. I was able to get tickets day of on the floor for pretty cheap. Wow. And it was an amazing show. I'm not really that big an Elton John fan, but getting to see Tiny Dancer live is just everybody, the entire stadium is singing it. Elton still sounds incredible. I was looking at the set list. He hadn't really changed his set list up. And so I'm looking at the set list. I find the one song where I'm like, okay, I'm going to hit the bathroom. I'm going to go grab some food. As I'm over there, he goes into Mona Lisa and Mad Hatters. I just go running all the way back there. I had some video of it I should have shared, but but one of my favorite songs of his, I had no idea he was going to play it. It was and just being able to see both Tiny Dancer and Mona Lisa Mad Hatters, both songs that are on Almost Famous, was incredible.
Yeah, you love that album. I mean, that movie. Yeah, and all the music attached to it. Yeah, Elton John's cool, man. Did you see the movie? I thought the movie was great.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, Rocket Man's phenomenal. Yeah, Rocket Man. You haven't seen it either. It's really good, man. I think it's one of the. I think I might have seen that more than any movie. I've seen that maybe less than Star Wars or something. But as far as the past recent movies, I've seen that 8 times, man. It's every time I'm on a plane, I watch it. It's a really good, and it's a musical, so you see he sings in it and stuff. But it's good, man. I think it's really good. Yeah, early Elton John is. You overlook it because of Elton John got a little cheesy. Yeah, he got a little cheesy, but it's he was a badass, man. He really kind of opened up music for the 70s.
The 70s stuff is great.
Yeah, I mean, just the piano playing. I mean, nobody was doing that.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Very cool. Great you got concerts. I mean, I'm hoping to just, see Anthony's band, and you're seeing all these amazing. I got to get scalp tickets for Die Laughing, but you're seeing Elton John floor.
Wow.
Well, you know what though? I went. I think it was. So yeah, Saturday and Sunday, Black Midi played around here, and I missed it because of the Elton John show. But I figured Black Midi, I could, they'll be back around. Elton, this is it. So
yeah,
it's the end.
Yeah. Well, they say that, and then they have Kiss had 5 farewell tours or whatever.
Oh yeah, I remember them doing farewell tours when I was 10 years old. Yeah, here they are doing another one.
Farewelling for a really long time.
Well, what about Motley Crue? They signed the contract saying this is it. This is definitely it. They signed the whole thing, and then they just ripped it up, and now they're playing it again.
Wait, you could do that?
Right.
Do they sound good? Does Vince, have you heard anybody who goes into shows or anything? Because I feel Vince...
Jeff went to the one was a couple weeks ago.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
Did he like it?
Did we talk about it?
Yeah, or it was on the other show. I know he was saying that he was a little bit disappointed by it.
Well, I'm disappointed by Jeff sometimes. I don't know, but
I haven't heard good things though about it.
I don't think people care. I think it's more of a karaoke show. Like people just know the music so much that everybody's just singing it and enjoying it. I mean, Vince had a pretty amazing voice. And I don't think you can, like, same with Axl. You can't have a voice like that for very long. Like eventually, it just goes out.
Axl lost it by the 90s. Axl didn't have it anymore.
Yeah, and that's why Perry from Steve Perry. That's why he kind of quit. He just could because he didn't he couldn't do that anymore.
Yeah,
and so it's like I think not that Vince is Steve Perry, but he does have a pretty good rock voice. But it's I think it's tough. But I'm always amazed that people still. I was talking to Leah yesterday, and I was like, I'm so surprised that people are still selling out stadiums for Motley Crue.
Yeah,
like, I'm not saying it's a bad, and Guns N' Roses too. All the bands. Yeah. I'm just kind of like, you think at a certain point, you're just like, they're not going to sound that great. But it's just like people are so desperate to feel that thing they felt when they were 20 or 17 or whatever. And I think it must be it. Where they just want to be at a concert and feel that thing,
Yeah.
Well, with Guns N' Roses, when they reunited, I think it was like 6 years ago or so, they played MetLife. They sold out the show right away. They add a second show. It's about half full. And I ended up getting tickets on a Groupon the day of for $20 for like the floor.
Oh, wow. And how'd they sound?
They sounded incredible.
Really?
The first time when they first came back, I saw them this past fall. Axl can't sing anymore. It was pretty much the Slash show for the 3 hours they played.
Okay. All right, your internet's a little fuzzy, but let's see. Cool. All right, so today we were talking about different music from bands that somehow include family members. It could be siblings. There's a lot of bands that have brothers. There's a lot of bands where, it's mom and daughter and father and son. And, there's cousins and, there's just a lot of people that, somehow, you have whole families like Jackson 5, where it's just like everybody's related. And it's like, I was thinking about this too. It's like, I can't do anything with my brothers. Like I can't imagine people like, creating music with family and then, actually producing something good. Cause I feel like if I tried to do music with my brothers, it would just be a fist fight. Somebody would cry. It would just be, somebody would throw something across the room. Nothing would get done. We'd be a good punk band. I think me and my brothers would make a great punk band because somebody would get in a fist fight. It would be one of those kind of things. But yeah, I'm always impressed with people that can do that. And a lot of times it's like, with the Jackson 5 though, I feel like it's kind of a double thing. Cause it's like, some of the greatest, music and, ever, but at the same time, I felt like, that's all those children were like little just music bees that made this, that just made music and then they ended up kind of being messed up because of it. So there's a lot of psychology to it as well. I think when you put your kids into something, and then some bands, it works out like I imagine Anthony probably knows more about Hanson than most of us, but I feel like, I like Hanson. I think they're a good little band. And I think, but they always seemed like nobody was like going to have allegations when they were 40. You know what I mean? Like it just felt like they just seemed like they were just some kids that could play.
How come you think I know about Hanson?
Because I'm looking at you right now.
My sister was really into Hanson. When
somebody in your circle is into Hanson. You're of age and a little bit. It's like it's just somebody in your circle.
They were talented kids.
They were. I'm not saying that they weren't. I mean, I'm gonna make fun of them because they got that one song. I'm sure they grew into something a little more complex. I mean, I would hope. I don't know. I'm not seeking out late Hanson, but I would.
I think they still tour. I think they still tour.
I'm sure we get them on the show. They ain't doing much.
Yeah, they're not.
Where's Hanson now? That's gonna be a new show. We try to catch up with Hanson.
That song was huge.
Yeah, well, but anyway, I just think it's an interesting genre. So, how about you? Why don't you start us off with your band that you chose and your album?
Oh yeah.
Why did you choose them? Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I chose a band called Nomeansno, which I was kind of just looking for an excuse to talk about this album Wrong on the show, because this is an album that when I was touring in 2019, me and my buddy, we would go into record stores all over the country looking for an original press of this album Wrong, and no one had it. We went to this one record store in Seattle, and it was like this old punk dude who owned the place, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I know that album. I had it once." He was like, I had it just a couple weeks, and then it went. But almost every record store, they didn't even know what we were talking about. They had to look it up. But this band, they're from Canada, from what's the part of it? They're from near Seattle, that area,
Victoria.
Yes, yeah, yep. They're from there. So that was probably why the guy in Seattle knew what it was. But this came out in '89 on Alternative Tentacles Records. This was their fourth album, and it's John Wright and Rob Wright brothers, bass and guitar. And for some of the history of the band, they were just a two-piece with bass and drums. And on Wrong, they have a guitar player. He plays. I don't think he even plays on every song. A lot of it's very bass heavy. It's like lead bass kind of stuff. And this album is like it's a great punk rock album that has like prog rock and jazz influences. So it's very complex kind of song structure, but with these kind of almost Black Flag kind of vocals. And I love it. And we listened to it in the car when we were touring. It was like one of the go-to albums we listened to all the time. And we searched all over the country, did not find an original press anywhere at any record store. Not even I think it's just out of print. I don't think there's even a new vinyl print. You could find it on CD. There's like a reissue that came out like 15 years ago. But it's it's one of the deep cuts, I would say, of punk rock. It's not generally spoken about the way that a lot of other great punk albums are. Damaged by Black Flag or whatever usually comes up. This is a kind of a hidden gem, and I really like it. So this was a good excuse with I could have gone, Oasis brother. I could have, I could have gone with some other brothers or whatever, but I just wanted you guys to check this out. Hopefully you liked it. I don't know.
Well, you texted me, you said, "Can I do the Bacon Brothers?" And I was like, "Well, let me see."
The Bacon. Yeah. Because you were like, "Oh, what are you going to do, Hanson Brothers?" And actually, these two guys had a side project called the Hanson Brothers.
Oh, interesting.
Which is, I think, a reference to what's the movie, Slapshot or some hockey movie.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good movie.
But these two guys have a project called the Hanson Brothers. That's
hilarious.
So that was, but yeah, so that was my Wrong by Nomeansno.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I was listening to it at the gym today, and it kind of sounds like a lot of. Actually got a Chili Peppers vibe. Like if the peppers were a little more raw, I felt like it kind of had some of that elements to it. But yeah, it was, you never disappoint. Anthony always has a good punk rock, it's, you're pretty solid on your part. This actually, I like this. This is a little harder than some of the, others, you've kind of recommended over the show, but I think it was definitely a lot more going on musically than wasn't just that straight sound where it's just kind of that, that
pretty
Green
complex.
Day, Ramones, that just kind of pop. Every song kind of has that fast rhythm, So, it was good. I thought it was, I should have listened to them a little more, but I enjoyed it. Adam, I feel like this is your jam, this kind of music.
Yeah. It's, I hadn't heard of them before. And I think if I had heard this back in the 90s, I would have really, that it would have been something I definitely would have had in heavy rotation. But I only got to listen to this once while I was driving. It's definitely great driving music. It's so I guess they're are they considered hardcore or post hardcore?
I don't know. I would imagine it's probably post hardcore. And this was 89, so hardcore was probably over. But this album, so it came out in 89, but this album was their most popular one, and the band has said that they attribute that to Nirvana breaking, shortly after this came out, or even I guess in that area, even before Nevermind came out. I mean, they had some buzz with Bleach, which was also 89. So Nirvana really helped this particular album be like a successful one for them. They kind of rode that wave a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely have to check out some more of their stuff. But yeah, it's great. I mean, I listened to it driving. I thought it was definitely good driving music. Good. You can see it being good workout music too. But yeah, I gotta check out some more. Yeah,
yeah. I run to this sometimes. This or Damaged by Black Flag. Usually what I run to.
Do you run in jeans still, or no?
I was running in jeans to Black Flag, but no, not anymore. I got sweatpants now.
One of my favorite things ever. I got this thing on my back. I go to the hospital. What happened? I was running in jeans. What?
Do not do that. You will get some gnarly. I actually, yes, I was at that time. My God. I went to the beach in my cutoff jeans. I didn't have anything else. I didn't have shorts really, because I was doing shows every night, and you can't wear shorts at shows. And I just had like this one pair of cutoff jeans, and I did everything in them. I worked out in them, went to the beach. Not anymore. Now I have the proper attire.
I like it. Very cool. Were we supposed to play? Did I mess up? Are we supposed to play? You were supposed to play Jeff first, right? Is that what we're supposed to do?
No, it's all right. We could play Jeff's reaction now.
Okay, I feel like I bet Jeff didn't like this. I feel like
actually he kind of likes your punk stuff. He just doesn't like your groovy weird stuff. Yeah, it's like.
All right, let's check this out.
Let's see how Jeff felt about Nomeansno.
The basis for Winger, everybody. Please give it up.
Okay, so it's after my show, and I'm half in the bag as I'm doing this, but I have to put out this video. And this is Anthony's album. It's No Means No, and I think the album is called Wrong. What can I say about this album? It's such an Anthony album. What can I say? Big Dick is the name of one of the songs, and it sucked. I did like The Tower. It was okay. Brainless Wonder, Tired of Waiting, State of Grace, Am I Wrong? I mean, what can you say about this album? I mean, it's three chords, and three power chords, and a little bit of attitude, but there's nothing special about this album at all. It's just kind of like fucking what's his name? Adam's album. Annoying. It wasn't good. I mean, I really think Dustin and I pick really great albums. I mean, listen, Dustin picks Eat a Peach. You can't go wrong with Eat a Peach, and Stone Temple Pilots are great. Maybe one day Anthony could pick. You know what I'd like to see with Anthony? I would like to one day take Anthony to a Journey, Styx, and Loverboy concert. And let's throw in REO's Speedwagon on top of that. That may be his version of hell, but it would be my version of heaven, because I would love to see him at that show. I gotta tell you, man, this album was No Means No. Ugh, not feeling it.
How is it? I don't know what he wanted from me. He said something about REO Speedwagon. I don't think he listened to the album, to be honest, because this is not a 3-chord. This is definitely. I picked it because it's got the attitude.
I didn't listen to it twice or anything. I mean, I didn't give it probably the air I should have, but he did. I don't think he listened to it. I think he listened to like,
yeah, it's not a 3-chord. It's not. That's what sets it apart from other.
I was saying it's not that bop, 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 bop. Right. Yeah, it's definitely different. He was just trying to, he just assumed he could just say that. Yeah, I think he has like Anthony's go-tos. So
yeah. He's like, what can I say about this album that I didn't even listen to? Man,
hilarious.
He was on a. How many cups of coffee was that?
Right. I don't know. Coffee.
Yeah,
Staten Island coffee. They slip a little cocaine in there.
That's what they call cocaine.
Yeah. Staten Island coffee. Hey, it's a Staten Island coffee. Yay, gets you right up, I tell you.
Oh man,
hilarious. All right. Well, he apparently liked my album, so that makes me better than you guys. Yeah, I don't have a lot of stuff. I've been kind of crazy this week, but yeah, I love this band. It's like one of the bands that kind of my go-to bands, I guess, as far as this, like, like my sophistication in music of any, like if I would say, because I like a lot of bad music. So, but I also like, certain bands that I feel like are, musically exceptional, if that's a way to put it. I would actually call this band the Southern Beatles in a way, because I feel like they kind of sophisticated music of that kind of era, that time. They kind of like really just brought on this jam music that was kind of happening, but I felt like they kind of exploded it. And what's funny about this album, it's the Allman Brothers, Eat a Peach, which is a great album. It's so funny today. I was like, it's a double album, and it's I actually got it for $1 because I wish I didn't know what they were getting. And
I love the artwork.
Yeah, the artwork is great. It's very, great, talented stuff. But was great. Well, I was thinking, how come there's only, one, let's see, I think there's like 14 songs here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's like 16 songs. I was like, how come there's only 16 songs, but there's like, 2 discs? And then I realized because they jam forever.
Yeah. Well, they're still jamming. They're not done recording this album yet.
So yeah, there's only there's not that many songs on here, but there's a lot of playing happening. And so then I'd listen to it again, and I've listened to it a few times, and it's such a great album. And one of, I think it's their 4th studio album. And the Allman Brothers are just they're all so talented, the entire band. And I remember I used to see them a lot at the Beacon. I got to see them live probably about maybe 5 times. They used to do March at the it was March, what was it called? Something March at the Beacon. It was with the Allman Brothers, and they would play there every March, and they would play like 3 weeks in March or whatever. It was just phenomenal. You'd see some, great, guest musicians and stuff. And what is that? Trucks. Who's the guy that plays?
The Derek Trucks?
Convoy.
Derek Trucks. I saw him play for the very first time at the Beacon, and he was like 16 or something. And so, this is just one of these albums that has everything in it that you want. I think it not only has jam music, like one of my favorite songs is Mountain Jam, which is such an amazing song. But then it has like Melissa, which is such a, kind of a power song of the 70s, and it's very, it's like a radio song, I guess, if you will. But every song on here is great. I think they're just such a good band. No More is a really good song. Blue Sky is fantastic. And then we also have Mountain Jam Continued. So
in case you didn't get enough,
they keep playing. And it's just, I think it's one of the best bands from the 70s. It's like top 5 for sure. There's a lot of great music happening in the 70s, and I feel like they earn their right to be in that list of great, musicians, and, but yeah, I love the Allman Brothers. It's I have all the solo stuff. What's his name? Greg. I have Greg's solo stuff, even the one with Cher. So
wow,
which is pretty bad.
That's dedication.
I believe Dwayne Allman was the kind of the main brother, and he kind of founded and put everybody together. And then through the years, they just created such good music. So that's I don't have a lot today. Sorry about that. I didn't do all the research on the album itself.
Well, the album is long, so you don't need to say.
The album is long, so I don't want to be too long.
Right.
But it's a great album. There's such a good band, and bands like Fish and stuff like that, I feel like are heavily influenced by a band like the Allman Brothers and things like that. And so, I feel like they've just made a really good mark in music. And so one of my favorite bands for sure. And Eat a Peach. Anthony, how do you feel about this?
I liked it. I'm waiting for Mountain Jam Forever. I hope they come out with that.
They just show up at your house and he's like playing. Won't stop. He's at my window. Yeah.
I liked it. So I mean, Allman Brothers, I never really got into them just because I never really knew where to start. And I don't know if this is where you would have recommended somebody starts, but
for the jamming stuff, I felt like they got their live stuff together at this point. But
but I liked it. I guess I always was kind of afraid that they would sound like a little too Southern for what I would like.
Yeah,
but I didn't really find that on like the vocals it's not as like it's kind of almost like the band.
Yeah, absolutely. Very much so.
So I was into that. And then the jamming, it's not always my thing, but I mean, they're great. They're great guitar players and stuff. So, even if you just put this on the background, while they're just noodling away forever, I liked it. I was into it. It's very pleasant. It's pleasant music.
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of bands to start. Their first album is great. I think it's just titled The Allman Brothers. And, let's see. I think it's. I'm trying to think of the one with Ramblin' Man. I think that was Brothers and Sisters. I think that one's on. But I think you can't really go wrong with this band as far as an album. Their live stuff's fantastic. It's kind of like how people get into the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Is it the two? Is it Greg and Dwayne? Are those the the only brothers?
Okay. Those are the main. Yeah, I think they got cousins, and I think there's like somebody. I'm a fourth cousin. I play bass. I think a lot of that's happening.
Tambourine. He's like uncle.
They're like the '70s Wu-Tang Clan. Just everybody's coming in. Willie Nelson's like that. Willie Nelson will go on forever. His family. He has a whole family. Man, he's got he's got his little sister. He's got his big brother. He's got his son. Like everybody's playing. Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Adam.
Yeah, so I didn't really I haven't really heard much outside of the hits. I haven't really listened to much of the Allman Brothers, and I did have a short jam band phase back in college to listen to
everyone
Fish and pretty much everybody in college had that. And
it's like
a bunch of Fish shows.
Let's check this out. Grateful Dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Drugs are fun. Yeah.
Oh, it was great. It was great going to those 3-day Fish shows, and then you put on a studio album and you're like, man, this is terrible. But yeah, no. So, every time I'd hear people talk about Allman Brothers, I'd always hear them say, "Oh, you got to hear Allman Brothers, the Beacon. You got to go to the Beacon shows." And this I really enjoyed this album. I think it's a little bit thrown with Mountain Jam being 33 minutes or so, right in the middle of the album. But Ain't Wasted No More, Ain't Wasted Time No More, Melissa, One Way Out, all fantastic songs. And this is one that I see Eat a Peach all the time in the used vinyl section. I think I'm going to pick it up next time I go.
Yeah, it's a good one to own. It's kind of it's just a classic, it's kind of their white album, if you will, just one of their staple albums. So it's good stuff. Should we hear Jeff? I guess he's going to give a good review. So let's hear it.
Hopefully he calmed down from the time he made.
I hope he's wearing that headband is what that's what I'm hoping for. You better be wearing that headband.
What can I say about this? It's a great.
There's no way Jeff does coke. He's way too.
I don't think he's
way too controlled.
Yeah. But he was rambling on that one. I don't know. Something was up.
Rambling the bar, I was rambling, man.
All right, let's talk about Dustin's album, Eat a Peach. Dustin, you really went out on a limb here on this one. Wow, holy shit. You picked probably the greatest Southern rock album ever made and probably one of the top 25 albums ever made. I mean, Eat a Peach, 1972, phenomenal. Ain't Wasting Time No More opens up great Allman slide guitar in this song. Melissa, first song ever written, I think, by Greg Allman when he was 17 years old. That's his first song, Melissa. Okay, I can't even fucking whistle. Okay, this guy's writing this song at 17 years old. A phenomenal song. One Way Out, great riff. Trouble No More, another classic Southern rock song, great vocal. Blue Sky, how can you not enjoy that song? Really super enjoyable. And then side 2 is an all-out gem. I mean, come on, man. You're not breaking ground here. This is a great album. There is not a negative on this. So, I mean, well done, sir. You picked a good one. I would love to see Anthony try to knock this one after giving us Bobby Bear Jr.
He's so condescending, even though he loves the album. He's like, you're really going out on a limb on this one. Probably picked one of the greatest albums of all time.
What? Yeah, with certain circles, there's a lot of people who don't even bring this up at all.
Why is he so? Yeah. Why is he condescending like that?
It's so funny. Like it's funny because I felt like last week I was breaking ground with the Viagra Boys and stuff, and like it was like and then like that's breaking ground,
and he couldn't wrap his head around it.
Yeah,
right. He was like, I don't know, is this music? Time will tell. Right. And now he's being such a dick.
If I ever do videos, I'm not gonna come up like a dick because it's like you just give yourself ammunition. Like, what are you doing?
And he had to throw another dig at Bobby Bear Jr.
On this?
Yeah.
I didn't even hear it.
On this one? Oh, you made fun of Bobby. Oh, that's that's what are you gonna do?
You can't let it go. I'm trying to mix it up. I'm trying to pick stuff that I know you guys not only you didn't pick, but you would not have picked.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, because apparently I'm not breaking grounds because I'm picking albums. Like I'm just going to a top 40 list and I'm just like choosing albums.
Unbelievable. He is hilarious.
Well, that's why I have you, Anthony. I want you to do the weird albums. That's the point. That's the point. We can't talk about Pat Benatar forever.
Right.
So, all right. So what's I guess Adam, it's your album.
All right. So I went with the debut album of Kings of Leon. It was their 2003 album, Youth and Young Manhood. Now, Kings of Leon is 3 brothers. It's Caleb, Nathan, and Jared Followell, and their cousin, Matthew Followell. And they grew up in, I guess their father was a Pentecostal minister. So they grew up kind of traveling the South to all these sermons he was giving. And I think it was, I guess around 99, they started the band, the 3 brothers. They brought Matthew in it. And it was kind of, I think they said they started out first as playing country music, then got into rock and roll. And I mean, this album is very much it's a mix of garage rocks, punk, Southern rock, blues. And it's a very like gritty, raw, kind of like scuzzy rock. It's the kind of rock that I like too, especially when I heard this in 2003. I mean, this was in a lot of ways they were kind of billed as the Southern Strokes, and and this album I first heard. One of my friends, I hadn't heard of this band before. One of my friends heard him at a party. He burned me the CD. He's like, "You got to listen to this album," and it just it fit at the time. I actually went to see them play Bowery back then, and it was I was on a date where drinking tequila at the bar. Everybody's dancing, shouting out the lyrics and everything. And the Strokes happened to be right at the show, just right at that back bar right there at Bowery.
Oh, wow.
And I think I might have actually done some shots with them too. And
wow, God damn, you do have a cool life.
but the rest of the night though, it was just a blackout. I woke up on a it was 4 in the morning, waking up on a subway to Brooklyn.
Wow.
Having no idea where I was.
Oh man.
But it was still fun though. Anyway, this I hadn't heard this album in a while. I was trying to think of one of the albums. Their first 3 or 4 albums are really good, but this is the one. I think I'm trying to think there was just this raw energy to it that they didn't really sustain it past their third. I mean, they became a very divisive band right after their fourth album, the one that had Sex is on Fire and Use Somebody, and the album that really kind of pushed them into the mainstream.
That was their fourth?
Fourth, yeah.
Oh, wow. And
this is a band that it's pretty interesting because they did not hit it big until I think it was 2000. It was their fourth album where they hit it big, but they actually were really big in the UK with this album, and they had such a big UK following. I don't know why it never really crossed over here, but I mean, it's got California Waiting is a great song on it. Happy Alone, Wasted Time, Spiral Staircase, Molly's Chambers. This, I mean, it's these are songs that are really rock bangers. Like these are songs that I feel like every time I listen to this song, even listening to it now, you listen to this album now, it takes me back to kind of like the Lower East Side, the early 2000s in New York, because this is the kind of band you would see if you wandered into Arlene's Grocery or Pianos or Mercury Lounge or any of those places, and it was just such a great energy that was going on then. But I actually, after listening to this, I at some point, I think the fourth album might have been the last one I heard of them. I stopped kind of following them, but I put on some of their more recent stuff, and you could just hear a complete different change in tone, change in everything is much more polished. Yeah. But what'd you guys think of this?
They're great. I love the idea that the fact that they went to they were big in the UK first, and so that's how you know they're good. I think that seems to be the formula. It's like UK ends up liking Jimi Hendrix and Bill Hicks, and like there's it's just such a rite of passage for great artists to come out when it's like America's always a little too slow for things that are sophisticated and ahead of their time. But I don't think. But this band, first of all, I don't think they're ahead of their time in the sense that it is back to kind of a classic sound, and the fact that they liked that they started country, which is great. I love the country to rock and roll like transition. I think that's what makes them such a soulful band. And they do have kind of a Black Crowes thing and like a lot of stuff, just a really good sound. But I like to copy Adam, and so it's like I feel like I'm gonna get more into Kings of Leon because I feel like you have a good touch on music, like you a pulse on it, like you get like kind of the bands that that were kind of important in the 2000s and things, and that we forget about. And so it's like there's a lot of good bands that I forget about. This is one of those bands. Like I feel like I just forgot all about them. I didn't even know they existed anymore. It's like, and then you're like, oh shit, this is a great band. Like I should have a couple albums. I should listen to them. Like all the songs are great. Like it's not, it's like who's the band? There's another band that I feel it reminds me of them in a way. Something I'll think of it later, but anyway, but they're a great band. Anthony, what'd you think?
I liked this
Alabama Shake, that's what I was thinking.
Alabama Shake.
Right, with Brittany Howard.
Yes, that's sorry Anthony, I moved you off. I'm old, I had to remember it.
I like that too. It'll bother me if I don't remember. I liked it. I think this might have been, I didn't realize they had 3 albums before the big one. I remember, so I didn't like them when they broke. You know, like those songs were fine for the radio. I wouldn't change the station necessarily, but I wasn't buying their stuff when that album broke. And I remember my buddy that I was in a band with at the time, we were at a studio, and he had I think it was this one, but it was one of their early albums for sure. And I was like, oh, this is cool. What's this? And he's like, Kings of Leon. I was like, what? Right. The band from the radio? This is no way. And he put the album on my iPod for me because he had the
iPods.
Yeah, one of the white ones with the scroll. You know, it was much more of that kind of indie rock, like the Strokes or whatever. But that kind of style on this first album, I think, even today, sounds much less dated than what they actually got rich from.
Yeah,
you know, like if that stuff came on the radio now, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's clearly from 2006 or whatever. But this one, if they came out with that now, I don't know how mainstream it would be, but like that's what all the hip New York and LA bands sound like. If you go like, you know, you're talking about Arlene's Grocery or whatever, like whatever the LA equivalence is, right. That's what you hear now. So I was into it, and there were a couple of moments where it did remind me a little bit of Bobby Bear Jr. the vocals.
Oh yeah,
so, a couple of little sneak it in there.
Yeah,
and imagine that we actually don't have time for Jeff's album, so we gotta, you know. But he did do the Stone Temple Pilots, which I feel we kind of covered that a little bit in the beginning. But yeah, this was great. I feel like it's, you know, this is family music. I think we could do another episode of more families doing music.
Yeah.
You know, we could do definitely things. So thank you guys for coming in. Thanks for, you know, keeping it real, man, about vinyl records and music and life. We love it here. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Dustin's Vinyl, and listen to us live every Wednesday. This will be pre-recorded, but most of the time we're on there live on Twitch on ComedyHub. So check that out, and also check us out on all the podcast platforms. All right, everybody. Thank you. Keep supporting record stores. And Anthony, you gonna play us out? What do you got? That's what happens when you don't get paid. You're like, you want to play us out? Yeah, there you go. If Anthony's on salary, he would do a solo on his knees, but he's like, this is how much you pay me. So
what do you want me to do? What do you need?
I don't know. Just, I don't know. That's whatever. We're over time anyway, but have fun.
Right.
Yeah. Yay, whammy bar. All right, everybody. Keep rocking. Woo.